Let's talk about a word you hear literally everywhere these days: gaslighting. But to really get a grip on its power, we're going to pull back the curtain and deconstruct the entire blueprint of this manipulation. We're going to see how it's built, how these ideas spread like wildfire through our culture, and most importantly, how to spot the tactics in your own life. Let's dive in. But here's the real challenge, right? The word gaslighting is thrown around so much, it's starting to feel, well, a little meaningless. It's losing its punch. So how do we cut through all that noise and get to what it actually is? How can we take this familiar, kind of tired concept and see it in a brand new light so we can actually protect ourselves from it? The way we do that is by breaking down the manipulator's own strategy. We're going to walk through their 5-part blueprint. First, we'll nail down the core concept they're exploiting. Then, we'll map out the narrative they built to trap you. After that, we'll fire up the psychological engine that fuels the whole thing, understand the tactics they use to keep you hooked, and finally, we'll reveal the most dangerous type of gaslighting that almost nobody ever talks about. So let's start with section 1, the core concept. See, to really get gaslighting, you first have to understand the manipulator's why. This isn't just random cruelty, it's a deliberate strategy, and it's built on a really twisted psychological foundation. And this right here is the absolute key. Gaslighting isn't just lying. A lie is, well, it's just a lie, a simple deception. Gaslighting is a targeted, systematic strategy to make you question your own mind, your memories, your entire perception of reality. It's specifically designed to make you feel like you're the one who's going crazy. And that right there is what makes it so terrifying. So why is this so incredibly relevant right now? Well, because it plugs directly into the world we all live in online. Just think about the arguments you see in comment sections, the constant pressure to be the main character, or just this general feeling that we don't all share the same reality anymore. In a world where everyone crafts their own narrative, it's so much easier for a manipulator to come in and distort yours. And that leads us straight to the emotional core of gaslighting. It is a toxic cocktail of feelings. It makes you desperate for validation because you're constantly being told your feelings are wrong. It plants this deep-seated fear that you can't even trust your own mind. And it sparks this intense curiosity to just figure out what is real. That's the trap. Okay, so we get the why. Let's move to section 2, the narrative blueprint. This is the how. Gaslighting isn't a single event. No, it's a story that the manipulator tells, and it's a journey they force you to take. This is their roadmap. This 5-step journey is a classic manipulation playbook. It always starts with a hook, just a small comment designed to make you doubt yourself. Then comes the introduction, where they set up a problem that makes you seem confused or unreliable. Then you get the insights. Those are the moments the gaslighter helps you see their version of reality. The twist, or the revelation, is that terrifying moment when you start believing their story more than your own. And the conclusion? That's when you become totally dependent on them to tell you what's real. Now, let's get even deeper. Section 3, the psychological engine. This is what makes gaslighting so brutally effective. It's not just about words, it's a strategy that hijacks the fundamental wiring of our brains. This is the dark science behind the art of manipulation. You see, gaslighters are masters at exploiting these deep psychological principles. They create cognitive dissonance, that awful, stressful feeling you get when reality clashes with what you're being told. They operate from what the psychologist Carl Jung called the shadow, all their hidden, dark impulses. And they are masters of power dynamics, using strategies straight out of Robert Greene's playbook to get control. These are not just abstract theories. These are the weapons they use. You know, this quote from Carl Jung just hits the nail on the head. To protect ourselves, we can't just run around looking for bad people. We have to be willing to look at the darkness, the manipulative tactics others use, and yeah, even the vulnerabilities in ourselves that let those tactics work. It's by making that darkness conscious that we actually find our power. Okay, so understanding the theory is one thing, but how does a gaslighter actually maintain their control over time? Well, that brings us to section 4, mastering mental retention. In the economy of our minds, our attention is the ultimate currency, and a manipulator's goal is to own all of it. And this control, it often starts with these carefully crafted phrases that are designed to pull on different emotional levers. A gaslighter might use curiosity, saying something like, there's a secret reason you always feel this way. Or they'll use fear-based tactics, like, you just don't see how your anxiety is ruining everything for us. They might even give you this false validation to pull you in, saying things like, I know you feel like you're not crazy, but let me just explain what really happened. Each one is a little weapon designed to hook you. And holding on to someone's attention is a brutal game. I mean, look at this. On an average video, 50% of the audience is gone within the first minute and a half. To keep you hooked, creators use tactics like open loops, where they start a story but don't finish it, and pattern interrupts, sudden changes to keep you on your toes. And you know who uses those exact same tactics to keep you in a state of doubt? A gaslighter. It's a strategy designed to make you constantly need them for the answer. And that brings us to the final, and frankly, the most critical part of this entire blueprint. Section 5, the unseen angle. Because to truly, truly protect yourself, you can't just look for the obvious stuff. You have to find the gap in the noise, the one piece of gaslighting that almost nobody is talking about. Think about it. If you go and search for gaslighting right now, what are you going to find? Hundreds, maybe thousands of videos. And almost every single one of them focuses on how other people gaslight you. A toxic partner, a manipulative boss, a difficult friend. The threat is always external. It's always someone else doing it to you. So here it is. Here's the twist. We have to pivot the camera inward. Because the most subtle, the most insidious, and maybe the most dangerous gaslighter in your life isn't someone else. It might just be you. We're talking about self-gaslighting. That's when you convince yourself that you're overreacting, that your feelings aren't valid, that you're the problem. That is the unexplored territory we have to learn to navigate. So you see, this 5-part blueprint isn't just a tool for a manipulator, it's a framework for our own thinking. By understanding how it works, we can start to deconstruct the manipulation happening in our own lives. So the final question isn't about content, it's for you. Now that you have the blueprint, what false narratives in your own life are you going to deconstruct? What part of your reality are you going to reclaim?